How many of you have either seen this question asked, or maybe you're the one asking the question? How much cash flow should you get per door on a rental property? So if you're wanting to invest in a rental property, using a measurement of how much cash flow can you get on that rental property in order to determine if it might be a good rental property investment or not. If you've asked this question, or if you've wondered this question, or if you've seen people asking this question, hit the like button down below. Hit that thumbs up. So I want to answer this for you, and I'm not sure if you're going to like my answer. My answer is that's a terrible measurement. Why? Because it depends on how much you put into the property. So let's say you have a measurement of $200 cash flow per door. Okay, great. Are you investing in a $60,000 property, in a $160,000 property, or a $1.6 million property? There's a little bit of a difference between those. So $200 cash flow per door is fantastic on a $60,000 property. You're probably financing if you're only getting 200, but on a $1.6 million property. So what do we do? What's the better question to be asking? I can tell you. What is the cash on cash return? That is the equation or the measurement that compares the amount of cash flow that you're getting to what you had to put in to get the property, whether you're paying all cash or financing the property. So how much cash you have to put into financing a $60,000 property is dramatically different than how much cash you're putting in to finance a $1.6 million property. So based on those amounts, how does $200 a month compare? Is that a good return? Probably not on the 1.6 million, but that's what you need to be looking at. So if you aren't familiar with cash on cash returns, I'm going to link below to a video that I did where I literally go through the equation and use an example to determine cap rates and cash on cash returns. Cap rates, one could make this the measurement too. I don't think it's quite as accurate, but the cash on cash return is one of my favorite equations, if not my favorite equation, because it directly compares how much money you put in on a deal to the returns. Because maybe you make $5 a door in cash flow. For the most part, that would probably be a terrible cash flow amount. But what if you got the property for free? Well, then $5 a month is technically an infinite return. That's kind of a hypothetical and a little bit of a dramatic example, but the answer to that varies. So I wish people would stop saying, I want or expect $200 cash flow per door. Okay, well, that number needs to change depending on what you're buying. So I really want you guys to be familiar with the cash on cash return equation. And like I said, check out the video below if you're not familiar with how to run it. I actually present the equation and I give examples and we calculate it all together. So it's a great way to learn it. It's such an invaluable tool for helping you analyze your potential rental property investment. So one other thing I want to bring to light, and this is a little bit of a separate topic, but in terms of the cash on cash equation, because I know what you're going to do, where maybe your question before was how much cash flow per door should I get or expect? Now you're going to say, well, what cash on cash percentage should I expect? Well, I'm just going to leave you with this last little thought. It depends. Sorry, I know it's kind of the whole real estate investing industry. It depends. Well, it varies, but in any rental property investment, there are multiple profit centers. There are actually 5 to be specific. I'll link below also to a video about this if you aren't familiar with them. But every type of property is going to offer different things. It might be a new property. It might be an old property. It might be in a risky neighborhood. It might be in a less risky neighborhood. There's so many variables that in any equation or any property or any situation, you want to look at the totality of where and how that property is going to make money. So be mindful that the cash on cash equation, for the most part, assuming you're not bringing in speculative things like appreciation and all of that, it's simply a cash flow measurement. So again, that's why it's kind of hard to say what would be my minimum cash on cash return that I would be okay with getting on a rental property. Well, it depends on the offering, because what if it's a property with massive appreciation potential, or it's in a less risky neighborhood, so I have less headaches. again, it becomes variable. So check out the videos I linked to below. If this was helpful, make sure you have hit that subscribe button. I put out new videos every single week. And let's learn to navigate all this stuff together. And if you ever have any questions about the numbers, leave those questions down in the comments, and I'm happy to answer them anytime.